Hey YouTubers, it's Valerie with Money Mindset Coach, and I just had to do this video today. It's just one of those things to where I heard a horrendous story, and I just really felt the need to reiterate things that we all know. But obviously, with the story, we all know that this kind of thing is still happening. It can be very tragic. The story that I'm talking about is a woman who, I think a couple days ago, was using her phone to, there were skydivers coming down, and she was trying to get the skydivers, a video of that. And she ended up backing into a plane's propeller. And she ended up obviously sustaining injuries and was taken to the hospital and died. And so that's why I'm making this video, because, and I haven't really seen too many videos on YouTube where we talk about how phones have changed our lives. And yeah, there's a lot of good things about phones, of having a phone. But there are some bad things. I mean, there have been other stories where somebody's in the Rocky Mountains and they're standing on this rock and they're kind of in a place where they shouldn't really be, and they're trying to get this perfect selfie, and they end up falling to their death. We've all seen the funny ones where somebody's in the mall and they're walking along and they're looking at their phone and they end up running right into one of the fountains that they have, that everybody puts their coins into. And they end up getting all wet and everything. And yeah, that's funny. And, haha. But this woman died because she was trying to video something and she was backing up, not looking at where she was going. And she ended up, I pray for her family. I pray for the people who were there that saw this happen. You talk about PTSD. That would be it. To see something like this happen to somebody. But, we just need to quit. We need to quit watching a concert through our phone, our child's school play through our phone. Are we watching it? Are we really seeing it? Are we enjoying it? Or do we think, God, I got to get this on tape. I got to get this. I got to get this viral moment. We never used to have cameras. I do remember when camcorders came out. And I tell you, my ex-husband and I, we bought a camcorder at Sears. And Sears in our town, that particular Sears was going out of business. So this was a long time ago. And there was a $1,200 camcorder. And this was one of these big ones where you had it on your shoulder. It was heavy. It was really heavy. It wasn't a small thing. It was heavy. It was $1,200, 50% off. So it was $600. Well, I gotta tell you, $600 was still a lot of money for us. But we bought it. And we were taping everything. We were having a lot of fun with it. I still have videotapes that I have now put on DVD of my kids. I know we went into debt for that camcorder, but I have never regretted it because it was a wonderful thing. We got things on video. It was like the 8mm camera that my dad had when he took home movies of us. And the funny thing is, he took home movies of my two brothers and me and then my sister. And then after my sister, it's like he didn't take any more home movies. So my sister is just in the ones where she's baby. And I don't know why my dad stopped. I really don't. But cameras and camcorders and the 8mm and everything, all those things are wonderful. But you have to be careful. I have gotten to the point now, I used to have a car that had Apple CarPlay. The car that I have now doesn't have that. And basically, if somebody calls me when I'm in the car, it's not as easy for me to answer as it was before with Apple CarPlay, or if you have Android Auto. It's not as easy. And I have to pick up my phone. I have to look at it. I have to, and it's like when I'm doing that, I am taking my eyes off the road. So I have gotten to the point where if I get a phone call while I'm driving down the road, I am going to have to either get to a point of pulling off and listening to the voicemail or calling that person back, or I wait to get to my destination, depending on where that's at when I get the call, and call them back then, or I text them and when I get to my destination and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I can't talk right now. I'll call you later. Those kind of things. Nobody, I'm sorry, but phones, and believe me, I used to not have a problem with talking on the phone in my car. I used to do it. I did it a lot. I was a realtor. I got phone calls when I was in my car a lot. I didn't want to miss a call, so I took it. So I've been there. But I tell you what, with what happened to this woman, with what's happened to other people, I'm not doing that anymore. I am not doing that anymore. How many times have you seen couples that are obviously with no kids sitting in a restaurant having dinner, but they're both sitting there on their phone? They're not talking to each other. How many times? Even friends, friends with each other. How many times do you pick up and look at your phone? And I have been guilty. Of it. I think I am going to make a decision to really leave the phone, leave it alone, put it somewhere else, don't look at it, just have it be gone for a while. You might find that you might read more, you might read, you might do some other things if you didn't have that phone in your hand, because it is like attached to us. I forget how many times they say we look at our phone every day. Facebook. The longer that you're on there, the more they like it. So, what I do is I get on Facebook, I set my timer on my phone for 10 minutes. And I look and I see what I see for that 10 minutes. And then I'm done. Now, I might have something that I want to post. Usually when I walk my dog in the morning, if there is some beautiful scenery, which right now it's beautiful, the leaves are changing, it's absolutely gorgeous. If I find a beautiful picture, I do take it and I do post it. I don't post a ton anymore. I do get sucked into some of my groups. I do. But that's why I set the timer. And then when the timer goes off, I realize, it's been 10 minutes, because if you don't set a timer, you could be on there for half an hour, because a half an hour can go by very quickly. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, that's 30 minutes I'm never going to get back. I was telling this story. I actually was doing this video and realized it didn't say to start recording. So I wasn't taping at all. But I was telling the story of before I met my husband, I was driving from Ohio to Illinois. Back then, that was in my 20s. So I had a CB radio. But it was partly what it was like to live without a phone. Now, back then, unless you were rich, you didn't have a phone in your car. Nobody was used to that. CB radio was as good as you could do. And so I had a CB radio, stopped at a rest area. My car had some radiator problem or something, but I had to check, make sure there was enough water in the radiator when I would stop. So the hood was up. This trucker guy came over and was talking to me, and he said, "Oh, do you need help? Blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Oh, no." I said, "It's just my radiator." I said, "It's fine." And so I went in to use the restroom, came back out. He was still standing there. That made me nervous. I didn't like the fact that this guy was still standing there. But I came out to my car, and he said, "Oh," he says, he said, "I was thinking about it." He said, "Would you want to have lunch up the road with me?" And I said, "Oh, no." I said, "I have people that are expecting me at such and such time. I really need to get back on the road." He said, "Well, you're sure?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah." And I got in my car and I left. Now, my dad always told me with a CB radio to have the trucker channel on, because the truckers, you hear them talking to each other, and you know if there's an accident up ahead or something like that. So you would know what was going on as far as the road goes. So you have the trucker channel on, and I don't remember what number that was. I think it was 19 or something. I don't remember. So anyway, I already had the trucker channel on. This guy is a trucker. And I don't know. I guess he must have known that I had the trucker channel on. I don't know. But he kept talking to me. And I was driving. I was on Interstate 75, and I was going to be getting onto 74, and he ended up, and I knew what truck was his truck, so I knew where he was on the road. And I saw him go off on Interstate 70, and I was going off over here. So I knew, okay, he's on a whole different interstate than me. I guess the reason I'm telling that story is that times have changed. We have phones now. If I had really, really been in trouble with this guy, I would have been able to make a phone call. I would have been able to call 911. But back then, there were no phones. CB radio was as good as it got. And I just knew. That's the other thing women have. We have a gut. We have a intuition. And women need to trust their gut. And my gut was telling me, if I had gone to have lunch with this guy, I could have never been heard from again. I just knew it. I just knew it. I knew I had to get back in my car. I had to keep going. I had plenty of gas in my car to get home. But that was the one time on the road where I got a bit nervous, I have to say. But phones have changed our lives for the good in so many reasons, so many ways. But they are also, it's a double-edged sword. It is a double-edged sword. They can be wonderful and they can be deadly. We just need to put the phone down when we're driving. We need to be present in the moment, be aware of our surroundings. That's the other thing. My boyfriend got really, really mad at me one time because when I got to his house, he's on a corner, and so I parked alongside the street, and I didn't get out right away. Well, I was looking at my phone. Well, there's a lot of women that, and men too, you can be in the car on your phone, and when you are zeroed in on this phone, your surroundings, you don't know. And I'm in St. Louis a lot, and St. Louis has a lot of carjackings. Well, is a woman putting herself in a vulnerable position if you are sitting in your car, sitting looking at your phone, and you don't know that anybody else is around? That's how it happens. And so my boyfriend told me, he said that I get in my car and I go. I get to his house, shut the car off, get out, lock the door. Don't sit there. Don't sit there on the phone. And the thing is I didn't even realize I was doing that. So I'm just saying, I mean, this is a cautionary tale to everybody, because men or women can do things that are kind of dumb when it comes to your phone. But women need to be especially careful. So anyway, I just heard this story, and I was just really, I was just distressed. I was really distressed. I thought, we got to stop doing this. We have to be more present in the moment, getting whatever we think we need to get on our phone and video or picture or whatever. It's not that important. Before people had cameras, they would do things, they would tell people about their experience. They didn't have to have a picture to show it. So life has changed. Things have changed. But please, all of you, be careful out there. Be very careful. If you found value with this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, all those things. I appreciate everybody who views my videos, everybody who has subscribed. It makes me so happy. And so anyway, I just had to say something, because this was really, I pray for this woman's family. I pray for the people who were there that saw this happen. It's very distressing. So please be careful out there with your cell phones. Be in the moment. Enjoy your family. And I will see you next time. Bye.